The verdict of stars, the great assembly. Music hall stretched across 3 km of polished crystal floor, 50,000 delegates. From across the Galactic Federation filled the tiered seats that spiraled upward into darkness. This was the heart of galactic civilization, where decisions that shaped trillion lives were made. Today the chamber hummed with tension. Every species had sent their representatives, the Zerathi with their crystalline bodies that chimed softly with each movement, the Kelver massive beings whose skin looked like living stone, they floating wisps of luminescent gas contained in elegant transparent suits, the Draenor reptilian warriors who had once terrorized half the galaxy before joining the Federation. All of them had come for one purpose. Commander Alina Reeves stood at the center of the vast floor. She wore the dress uniform of the United Earth Fleet, deep blue with silver stars across the shoulders. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun. Her face showed no emotion. She was the only human in a room filled with aliens. Behind her, on massive holographic screens, her image was projected so all could see. She stood straight and still, hands clasped behind her back, waiting the weight of 200 years of human history in the galaxy rested on this moment. High Arbiter Velthorn rose from the central podium. He was AI, his gaseous form swirling with colors that shifted from blue to deep purple. His voice, synthesized through his containment suit, echoed across the chamber with perfect clarity. The vote has concluded. After 3 cycles of deliberation and countless hours of debate, the Galactic Federation has reached its decision. Silence fell across the hall. 50,000 beings held their breath, by a count of 41,217 in favor and 8,783 opposed. This assembly hereby declares that the species known as humans and all territories claimed by Earth are formally expelled from Federation space. A wave of sound rolled through the chamber. The Zerathi sang their approval. In crystal tones, the Kelvers stamped their massive feet, making the floor tremble. The Draenor hissed and clicked their satisfaction. Others joined in, creating a symphony of alien celebration. Alina did not move. She did not flinch. She simply nodded once, accepting the verdict with the same calm she might have shown receiving a weather report. High Arbiter Velthorn continued, humanity has one standard year to remove all presence from Federation territory. All colonies, stations, ships, and citizens must withdraw beyond the established border zones. Any human presence remaining after this period will be considered an act of invasion. The celebration grew louder. Alina waited for the noise to die down. When silence finally returned, she spoke. Her voice was clear and steady, amplified across the vast chamber. I understand the decision of this assembly. Before I depart, I request permission to address this body one final time. Belorn seemed surprised. He had expected protests. He had expected anger or perhaps desperate pleas for reconsideration. But this human woman stood like carved ice, showing nothing. You may speak, Commander Reeves. Alina looked around the chamber slowly, her gaze moving across the thousands of faces, both familiar and strange. For 200 years, humanity has been part of this Federation. We have contributed our science, our medicine, our engineering. We have fought in 17 wars to defend Federation worlds. We have established trade routes that connected isolated Systems, we have shared our culture, our art, our knowledge freely with all who asked. She paused, letting her words settle over the assembly. We saved the Zareth home world when their sun began to die early, building stellar stabilizers that bought them another 1,000 years. We cured the Red Plague that was killing the Kelver children by the millions. We fought alongside the Draenor during the Void War, losing 50,000 human soldiers to protect their colony worlds. We taught the Anani new methods of energy containment that doubled their population capacity. We have been friends, allies, and partners. Ambassador Krellel of the Draenor rose to his feet, his scales gleaming under the chamber lights. His voice was harsh and sharp. You have also spread across too many systems. Your population grows too fast. Your influence expands without end. You are predators who smile while showing teeth. We have seen your history, Commander. Your species has a talent for war. We remove this threat before it becomes unstoppable. Elena turned to face him directly. You call us predators because we are good at survival. You call us dangerous because we adapt quickly. You fear us not because of what we have done, but because of what we might do. She looked back at the High Arbiter. I will not argue with your decision. I will not beg for mercy or reconsideration. If the galaxy believes it is better without humanity, then humanity will leave. But know this, she raised her voice slightly, making sure every being in the chamber heard clearly. Everything we built with our own hands and minds. Every technology we shared under license and agreement. Every system we improved with our labor. When we leave, we take all of that with us, not out of spite, but because it belongs to us. The contracts were clear. The galaxy wanted us gone. Very well, we will go completely. A murmur ran through the assembly. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably, others laughed, dismissing her words as empty threats. Elena continued, we will not fight you. We will not seek revenge. We will simply collect what is ours and depart. You will have your galaxy back exactly as you want it. I wish you all well in your future endeavors. She gave a slight bow, turned and walked toward the exit. Her boots clicked against the crystal floor. In the absolute silence that had fallen over the chamber, Commander Reeves Velorn called out, surely there is more. You wish to say, some final argument or appeal? Elena stopped but did not turn around. No, High Arbiter, we humans learned long ago that you cannot force others to value you. You cannot make people appreciate your friendship. If the galaxy has decided we are not wanted, then we accept that decision. With dignity, we will leave without anger, without bitterness, and without regret. The door slid open before her, and she walked through without looking back. The chamber erupted in conversation. Many delegates celebrated loudly, convinced they had removed a dangerous element from their civilization. Others sat quietly, worry creeping into their thoughts. The older members of the assembly, those who remembered the galaxy before humans arrived, exchanged concerned glances. They remembered the chaos, the wars, the darkness that had plagued their worlds. They remembered how much had changed when humanity joined them. Within hours, the news reached Earth. Director Marcus Chin, leader of the United Earth government, addressed every human across all colonies and worlds. His face appeared on billions of screens from Earth to the furthest human settlement. At the edge of Federation space, my fellow humans, he began, his voice steady and strong. Today the Galactic Federation voted to expel us from their territory. They have given us 1 year to leave. Some of you may feel anger. Some may feel sadness. Some may want to resist, but I tell you now, we will do none of these things. He leaned forward, his eyes intense. We will leave with our heads held high. We will take everything we have built, every innovation we have shared, every system we have improved. They believe they are punishing us. They believe we will suffer in isolation. They do not understand us at all. We are humans. We have survived ice and fire. We have conquered disease and starvation. We have rebuilt our world from ashes more than once. The empty void does not frighten us. It challenges us. Across human space, people watched in silence. In 1 year, Director Chin continued, there will be no human presence in Federation territory. They will have exactly what they voted for. And we will have something better. We will have our freedom, our dignity, and our future. That is all we have ever needed. That is all we will ever need. The message ended. Within days, the great exodus began. Ships launched from every human world, massive cargo vessels loaded with equipment, supplies, and hope. Colony ships filled with families seeking new homes, military escorts protecting the vulnerable. They all turned toward the edge of Federation space, toward the unknown darkness beyond. The galaxy watched them go with satisfaction. The human problem was solved. The threat was removed. Order would return, but in quiet laboratories. Human scientists worked through the night. In command centers, human strategists planned for a future the galaxy could not imagine. In the hearts of 2 billion humans, a quiet determination burned bright. They were leaving, yes, but they were not defeated. They were not broken. They were simply moving forward as humans always had. And somewhere in the darkness ahead, a new chapter of human history was beginning. The galaxy would learn eventually what it truly meant to cast aside humanity. But by then it would be far too late. The price of exile. 3 months had passed since the vote. The galaxy watched as humans methodically packed their belongings and departed. At first everyone felt relief. The humans were actually leaving. There was no resistance, no military confrontation, no desperate last stands. They simply loaded their ships, said their goodbyes, and flew away into the darkness beyond Federation border. The transition seemed smooth. Too smooth. Then the problems began. On Zaria Prime, the central power network flickered and died. Engineers rushed to restore it, expecting a simple malfunction. They worked for days, checking every circuit and connection. Nothing made sense. The system had functioned perfectly for 150 years, without a single major failure. Then, senior engineer Thralvon discovered the truth. The core operating system was human-designed. The maintenance protocols were human-written. The diagnostic tools were human-made. When the humans left, they took the access codes and technical documentation with them. Prime Minister Sarel Van convened an emergency session. This is unacceptable, he declared, his crystalline body chiming with agitation. They cannot simply abandon critical infrastructure. His chief advisor, a younger Zareth named Paler, checked the original contracts carefully. Actually, Prime Minister, they can. The power network was installed under a technology Sharing agreement. The agreement clearly stated that all proprietary systems remained human property. When we voted to expel them, the agreement was nullified. They had every legal right to revoke our access, surveillance form, darkened with anger, legal right or not. Millions of our people are without power. Contact the human fleet immediately. Offer them whatever compensation they demand to restore the system. The message was sent into the void. No response came back. Days turned into weeks. The power network remained dark. 7 million Zerithi lived without electricity for the first time in generations. Hospitals struggled to keep patients alive. Food storage facilities failed. The temperature control systems that maintained comfortable living conditions shut down. The Zerithi began to understand what they had lost, but Zaria Prime was just the beginning. On Station Nexus, the largest trading hub in the Federation, disaster struck the medical center. For 80 years, human doctors had operated the facility, treating patients from every species in the galaxy. They had equipment that could heal injuries in hours that would take others weeks. They had medicines that cured diseases others could barely diagnose. Now the medical center stood empty. The humans had taken everything with them, every scanner, every surgical tool, every vial of medicine. They left behind only empty rooms and obsolete equipment that no one else knew how to operate. A young Kelver mother named Thera brought her child to the medical center. Her daughter had contracted thermal fever, a common illness that human medicine could cure quickly. She found the doors locked and dark. Where are the doctors? She asked the security guard. They left, the guard replied. Sadly, they were human. They had to go. But my daughter is sick. She needs treatment. The guard could only shake his head. The silver physicians tried their best. They were skilled healers with centuries of medical knowledge, but they did not have human technology. They did not have human pharmaceutical formulas. They worked desperately for 3 days. The child died on the 4th morning. Thera held her daughter's body and wept. She was not the only parent to lose a child that week. Across the Federation, similar disasters unfolded. Like falling dominoes, the vast trade network that connected thousands of worlds began to collapse. Human merchants had operated the most efficient shipping routes, moving goods quickly and cheaply across enormous distances. They had developed logistic systems that others had come to depend on completely. Now those routes were empty. Cargo ships sat idle in ports. Goods piled up in warehouses with no way to transport them. Prices soared as scarcity spread. Worlds that had enjoyed abundance suddenly faced shortages of basic necessities. The Delaney colonies discovered that their communication satellites were failing. Human technicians had maintained the network, updating software and repairing damage. Without them, the satellites drifted out of alignment. Messages took weeks to arrive instead of minutes. Some colony worlds lost contact entirely, isolated. In the vast darkness of space, the Draar defense network experienced catastrophic failure during a pirate raid on their outer territories. The automated defense platforms that had protected them for decades suddenly went offline. The pirates destroyed 3 colony ships before military vessels could respond. 2,000 Draenor died in the attack. Investigation revealed that human engineers had designed and maintained the defense system. When they left, they took the operational codes with them. High Arbiter Velthorn called emergency. Session after emergency session, his luminous form swirled with colors that betrayed his growing panic. The council chamber, once filled with celebration, now echoed with angry accusations and desperate pleas. "This is a catastrophe," shouted Ambassador Krell. "Our people are suffering, our economies are failing, our defenses are compromised. You yourself voted for their expulsion." Velorn reminded him coldly, "We all did. We believed we could manage without them." "We were wrong," admitted Merchant. Lord Vexenal of Thay, "the humans integrated themselves into every aspect of our civilization. We did not realize how dependent we had become." Chancellor Morton of the Kelver stood slowly, his massive stone-like body moving with difficulty. His voice was deep and filled with grief. "My people are dying. Children who could have been saved are perishing because we no longer have access to human medicine. We must find a solution." "What solution?" demanded Krell. "The humans are gone. They ignore every message we send. Perhaps they cannot hear us," suggested a junior diplomat. "Hopefully, they have traveled far beyond our communication range." Beloran knew better. The humans could hear every message. Their technology was more advanced than most of the Federation realized. They simply chose not to respond. "Send another message," Velorin ordered. "Make it clear that we wish to negotiate new agreements, offer substantial compensation for their services and technology." The message was transmitted into the darkness again. Silence answered. Meanwhile, 6 months into the Exodus, the human fleet had reached its destination. Commander Alina Reeves stood on the bridge of the colony ship New Dawn, watching the view screen with satisfaction. Before them spread a cluster of star systems unlike anything the Federation had ever discovered. 15 pristine worlds with breathable atmospheres, liquid water, and rich soil. No intelligent species had ever claimed them. They existed beyond the explored territories in a region the Federation considered too remote and worthless to colonize. "Report," Elena commanded. "First survey teams have landed on all 15 worlds. Her operations officer responded. Initial analysis confirms everything we hoped for. These planets are perfect for human settlement. Begin phase 2 immediately." Elena ordered. "I want colonies established on all suitable worlds within 6 months. Full infrastructure development within 2 years." The officer nodded and transmitted the orders. Across the fleet, millions of humans began the enormous task of building new civilization on the world they named New Terra. The first permanent structures rose from the soil. Prefabricated buildings assembled quickly, creating the foundations of cities. Agricultural teams planted crops in the fertile ground. Engineers established power networks using the latest human technology. Medical facilities opened their doors. Schools welcomed children. Factories began production. Life took root and flourished. Director Marcus Chun walked through the streets of First Landing, the primary city on New Terra. He watched construction crews raise buildings toward the sky. He saw children playing in newly created parks. He observed scientists testing equipment in outdoor laboratories. "This is what we were meant to do," he said to Elena, who walked beside him. "Not beg for acceptance from others, but build our own future with our own hands. 6 months after the Exodus began, Alina composed a final message to the Galactic Federation. She sat in her command chair, facing the recording device, and spoke clearly to the Galactic Federation. This is Commander Alina Reeves of the United Earth Fleet. We have received your messages, all 347 of them. We understand your situation. We know that systems are failing across your territory. We know that your people are suffering. We know that you want us to return and restore what we built. Her expression remained neutral, showing neither anger nor satisfaction. We will not be returning. You made your choice when you voted to expel us. You believed you could prosper without human presence. Now you have the opportunity to prove that belief correct. She leaned forward slightly. Everything we shared with you was given under agreements that you nullified when you banished us. We have broken no laws and violated no treaties. We simply took back what belonged to us. You wanted the galaxy without humans. Now you have it. Learn to manage it yourselves. Alina paused, considering her next words carefully. However, we are not cruel. We are not vengeful. We are humans. If your people are truly dying, if children are suffering, we will provide humanitarian assistance, medical supplies, only food for the starving, nothing more. We will not rebuild your systems. We will not maintain your networks. We will not return to work for those who called us predators and threw us away like garbage. Her voice grew stronger, filled with quiet determination. We are building something new out here beyond your borders, a civilization that belongs to us alone, a future that no one can vote to take from us. We will thrive in ways you cannot imagine, because that is what humans do. We survive, we adapt, we overcome. She stood up, preparing to end the transmission. Do not contact us again unless lives are truly at stake. We have no interest in your politics, your trade negotiations, or your regrets. You made us leave. Now live with that decision. The transmission ended. Across the Federation, leaders watched the message in stunned silence. Some felt rage at her words, others felt shame for what they had done. A few felt fear, wondering what humanity would become without the Federation's influence. On New Terra, construction continued day and night. Humanity was building a new home, a new society, a new future. They had walked away from the galaxy without regret. Now they would prove that they never needed the Federation at all. The galaxy had banished Earth. Earth had accepted and moved forward. History would remember which choice proved wiser.